Chet. It's not letting me go back all the way. 503. Let's see. Corridora are in the chat already. There may be some other folks in there too. Just want to check and make sure that you can hear me. And you can hear me loud and clear. So if you can hear me, please let me know. I would love to get started, but I want to make sure you can. Okay, Frank the Tank, thank you for catching that. And I see JH is here as well. Good. So one thing I wanted to show you, I'm excited about this, something I received for Christmas. So you may have seen this shirt. There's a buzz in the background. Hopefully that's not the filter or something. Let's see. Okay, JH, does that help at all with the buzz, what I just did, that adjustment that I just made? There is an air pump down here, so there's that. Sorry about that. There's Laura Philippi. Yeah, there's an air pump. Nothing I can do about that, I'm afraid. But here we are. This guy, okay. It could be, I had the iPad plugged in to charge because it was, I wanted to make sure it was fully charged for the show. So it looks like we're good. Spider-Man suit reveal, that would be awesome. You've probably seen this shirt before. This is my Shapes in Nature shirt. And I don't know if you can read that down at the bottom. I'd rather be bug hunting. I love this shirt. When I first saw Jesse of Shapes in Nature wearing this shirt, I said, I've got to have one of those. So I ordered one. Love it. But then, oh, Joseph Tavier's here as well as this guy. Okay, so what I want to show you, this is a Shapes in Nature hoodie as well. Check this out, love this. Got this on the front, and check this out. It is awesome. I love it. I've got my bases covered. Coming and going, right? There is Jeff Jones from Yuma, Arizona. Excellent. Corridora says, would it make any sense to run air like you might inside an aquarium into the dry side of an isopod enclosure to increase ventilation? Well, it kind of depends. There might be some species that would benefit from that. Interesting question. And it probably depends a lot upon your specific ambiental conditions. So when I saw this on Shapes in Nature, on his Instagram, this hoodie, I asked for it for Christmas, and I got it for Christmas. So I'm pretty excited about that. It was really fun. I love the color. It feels comfortable, and I like the fit. I like everything about it, and I love the art, of course. So yeah, I need to let Jesse know that I showed this on the live stream so he can check it out. Yeah, Jesse has some awesome stuff. In fact, let me show you something else that I got. Right here on my backpack. Let's see if I can focus on it. There it is. Look at that. Blue death feigning beetle. Pin. Also from Shapes in Nature. Another thing that I saw on his Instagram, and I was like, need that. Gotta have that. That is amazing. He made this too. I think that's a rhino beetle. He didn't make this. My daughter got me this as a present. I think it's hilarious. But it's pretty awesome too. But these are from Jesse. Too busy collecting stuff. Well, this I've had for a really long time, years. But this one just came for Christmas, and just look at the detail on this. It's just amazing. I love it. So yeah, I took a little break from live streaming to spend time with family. Holidays, I wasn't making very many videos or anything like that. I wasn't posting on Instagram very much, just a little, and just trying to kind of stay off that stuff for a while so I could have more time with the family. And it was a good break, short break, but a good break. Rust Scout badge, love it. Jenna Wild, Mike Fernandez is here, awesome. I wanted to show you something else that Jesse sent. I'm super excited about. Let me see. I mean, he's sent me a lot of cool stuff, and I'm excited about all of it. But most recently, along with it's been the along with these the things that I got. Check this out. Ray skeleton, cartilaginous skeleton. Love it. Such a beautiful sticker. Penguin sticker. Skeleton, of course, also, but not cartilaginous. Talk about the rain frog with the knives. Yeah. Yeah, my daughter found that for me, and it's awesome. Giraffe skeleton. There we go. Focusing on it. And blue-footed booby doing the courtship dance. I love it. Complete with the blue feet. Oh, these would be 100% Clint approved because they're anatomically accurate. It would probably add years to Clint's lifespan because he doesn't have to worry about how horrible the skeletons are like they are in the Halloween shops. These are like anatomically accurate skeletons, so he would love it. I should show him next time I see Clint. I should show him those stickers. He'd probably get a huge kick out of it. And yes, 503, you should totally connect with Jesse. It will make your day. It's super cool to hang out with him. I've had 2 occasions to hang out with him in person and several times online, of course, but we had a ball every time. Super cool. Yes, I can put a good word in for you, 503. Just let me know when you want to meet up with them, and let me know when you're planning on it. I'll put a good word for you. Tima, sucker for stickers. Yeah, me too. Especially, well, Jesse's stickers. They're next level stuff. And Corridor, well, that's true, Corridor, that if Clint made a video about these stickers, it wouldn't be, the video wouldn't be nearly as funny because he wouldn't be ripping the stickers to shreds. He would be appreciating their beauty. But yeah, it's different content, that's true. Yotaro is here. Awesome. Yeah. Let's see. Who else is here that I missed? Happy 2025. Yes, that's awesome. Corridor, the laptop I'm typing on is covered in aquarium fish stickers. Yeah. I'm excited to decide where I'm going to put these stickers. I'm usually pretty deliberate about it. I have some of his stickers on both of my water bottles, my home water bottle, my work water bottle, and I have them in other places too, but I have some on my presentation bins that I bring to presentations, but I'm really, it takes me a while to figure it out. I got to decide where I'm going to put them because I want to make sure people get to see them and enjoy them. Let's see, Kawaii Yokai, hello. You're making stickers, that's cool. So Disc Guy, what are your thoughts on sanitizing leaf litter by submersion in water for 24 hours? I think you will get rid of some pests that way. Other pests you will not get rid of. I would say, it's probably better than not doing it, but unless you go longer, there are some pests that are totally going to survive that. And so, you know, it will get rid of some, but it's going to be an incomplete sanitization. Let's put it that way. Oh, a mechanical blue death fainting beetle? That would be something. So Corridora, have a fish club meeting next Sunday. So far on the auction site are zebras, powder blue and powder orange, hoping to win something new. Cool. Let's see. So at a fish club meeting, they have isopods. That's interesting. I've never been to a fish club meeting where there are isopods that I can recall, but that's pretty neat. Oh, Kawaii Yokai, okay. Yeah. Those are the stickers. Okay, very cool. Now I'm making the connection. Very cool, by the way. I love how they look. They're awesome. Yeah, there you go. Like this, like 503 is saying, with the moss, you get some bugs that'll float to the top for sure. I would be concerned about things like some of the nematodes would probably not be affected by 24-hour immersion. There would be some eggs of some terrestrial creatures that probably wouldn't be necessarily destroyed. There would be various things. So I don't know. It does sound like it's better than not doing it for sure. And I like what 503 said, that for isopods, don't worry too much. Frogs, I'm not paranoid. Yeah, and it's just, it depends on what level of biosecurity sort of that you want to have. So Laura Taylor, I thought I was the only one who took forever to decide to stick the stickers. There, no here, no over there. Yeah. They're such cool stickers that I really want to make sure they get exposure, they get what they deserve, which is, people should see them and enjoy them, you know what I mean? So I think I can fit a couple more on my thermos, probably. My water bottles are mostly maxed out for stickers of this size, so probably won't make it to those, but I want to put them somewhere super awesome. Got a couple spots I could put them on my bumper on the car, and that would be something. And corridor, that makes sense. I mean, certainly my hobbies of fish keeping and isopods overlap and have for many years now. I started out, well, in a sense, I guess I did start out as a fish hobbyist in more than one sense, because I started, my first pet was a fish, and I started keeping fish a long time ago with my parents' help when I was 4, and then just kind of on my own by the time I was about 10. I was taking care of fish, and I've had very few gaps in that time during which I haven't had fish, and I still have fish and still enjoy keeping fish. And so yeah, they overlap for me too. I was thinking about it the other day. We have like 15 aquariums with water and aquatic organisms in them, at least 15, possibly more. So yeah, we have a decent amount in the house. And I guess one of those is at work. Yeah, one of those is at work. I have one at work. But as far as enclosures dedicated to aquatic organisms, we've got 14 in the house and one at work. So we have a fair amount of them. Not all of them are fish. Some of them are, you know, Daphnia and snails and different things like that, but there are fish ones. One of them's just for an axolotl. And Kauai, freezing does help. There are a lot of things on leaf litter that freezing will kill. Not everything, but it will certainly kill a lot of things too. Let's see. Yeah, some of the eggs of various things, the slug and snail eggs could survive some of those things. This guy, best conglobating isopod for beginners. Let me toss out a couple. Armadillidium vulgare, if you want to get a wild one, like Frank says. Armadillidium maculatum, the zebra isopod, would be a great one too. Those are my 2 top picks for best conglobating isopod for beginners. Oh, Corridora, process for sterilizing aquarium plants where a 12-hour seltzer dip and then a transition to normal water is used. The seltzer kills anything aerobic, water changed by pressure drop. Makes sense. I have used CO2 gassing to sanitize plants as well, with using a small amount of dry ice, like on like in a plastic lid or in a glass jar or whatever, inside a larger bin, and put all the plants in there. And as the dry ice sublimates, it fills the container up with, you know, CO2. And there's a lot of things that can't survive that. There are things that can. There are things that can survive that, but very few compared to some of the other methods, I think. So, you could probably do that with leaves. It would be, depending on how much leaves, the quantity of leaves you were doing. I mean, that could be expensive, but certainly possible. Let's see. Yeah, so Kauai, that would probably kill off most of the spiders by freezing them. Yeah. Corridor, my username in an aquarium fish, and I'm in an isopod stream. True, you're doing the same thing. Oh, fish question. I'm going to throw this out there because a lot of you are fish hobbyists. Do any of you keep white cloud mountain minnows? I used to breed a really cool long fin strain of them years ago, and before that, I think that was either the first or second egg-laying fish that I bred when I was like 13 or 14 years old. Can't remember if it was zebras danios first or white clouds, but it was one of those two. Kind of think it was white clouds that I bred before, and they're a lot harder to get. You used to be able to walk into the pet store and just get white cloud mountain minnows, and it's hard now. I went into the pet store the other day, and I kind of know one of the workers there, and I said, "Do you guys have white clouds?" They said, "No, we never stock them." And I thought, oh, that's crummy because I love white clouds, and I want to get a few. I want to get back into that, but trying to find a good source. I would love to get some homebred ones rather than, ones from a pet store. And especially if I could trade some, I could trade isopods or something if somebody wanted to do that, or I could just pay for them. But I would love to get some. If any of you keep them or know somebody who does, it wouldn't necessarily have to be the long fins either. Oh, that's another good pick for conglobating isopods, Armadillo officinalis. Sicily locality. I've never had the Sicily locality. So Laura Taylor, Russ, do you have a nematode video, good or bad? So technically I do have a nematode video, but probably not the nematode video you're talking about, because I have a nematode video for microworms, banana worms, and Walter worms as live food for fish, but it's a very old video, but I do have it. But it's not about nematode use as control for fungus gnats. I have not experimented with them. I read early on, I started doing research years ago about fungus gnat controls, and one of them was looking into the nematodes that control fungus gnats, and the research that I looked in, the paper I read said that it was a negative effect on isopod populations. They can kill isopods. So I said, okay, well, I'm not going to look into that. But then later after that, I've heard some people have success with them, so I need to look into that a little bit more and see what's going on. It might depend on the species of nematode. There could be other factors at play. So Kauai yokai, yeah, bigger variety of isopods can be challenging in Australia, can't it? But Montenegro, Armadillidium klugi, Montenegro, super cool. So I do hope you get those eventually. I don't know how the laws are going to be and how soon that can happen, if ever, but I hope those are some great ones. I hope we get to keep them someday. Invertebrate person, welcome. Saw a ladybug larva yesterday. Interesting. Do you live in a place where that is normal during the winter? So 503, yeah, I kept a strain, the lungfin strain I started keeping, I found in Hawaii. There was a fish breeder there. And this was the interesting thing. He had these beautiful longfin white clouds. And because he kept them outside, they wouldn't, it's Hawaii, you could keep a lot of fish outside, but it was too warm for them to breed. And so I got some from him and took them into my office where there was air conditioning. I didn't have air conditioning in my house, so they weren't breeding in my house either because my house was too warm. I brought them into my office where we had air conditioning and put them in a 20-gallon tank in there, and boom, babies. And so bred them there and then brought them back. When I came back here to the mainland, brought some of that stock back with me and kept breeding them for a while. But eventually, the population, I wasn't keeping up with the breeding. The population eventually petered out. So I'm kind of sad about that, and I wish I hadn't done that. Yeah, Jenna Wild, do you have some in the pond outside? Do you have the gold ones in the pond or the wild type ones? Theropod Hunter, welcome. So Laura Taylor, you get a chance to look into the tea drops or fungus gnats. I haven't yet. I need to do that. Thank you for the reminder. I need to look into that. You know, it'd be awesome, Laura Taylor, if you'd send me a message, because then I'd be sure to remember. That would be awesome. Okay, let's see. How are the Dom and Diadema doing? They're doing well. I've tried several pairing attempts, and I'm not conclusive on any of them. I don't know for sure if any of them took, but I'll be watching in the next month or so. Just fed them yesterday. Just watching to see if the female, forms a brood pouch. Nothing so far that I've noticed. Yeah, Corey Dora, indeed, the white clouds and ricefish living under inches of ice. I think Corey of Aquarium Co-op mentioned that he had them under 2 inches of ice, the white clouds, and they did fine. I have I have a 54-gallon tank that has a couple of slow goldfish in it, not like comets or common goldfish that are fast. I have a Joaquin in there, and then I have a Shubunkin with like a crazy long finnage. So they're both kind of slow. And I thought, a lot of people have success keeping white clouds with goldfish. I've done it before too, as long as the goldfish aren't too fast. You put them with like common goldfish and they become snackages. But with my slow goldfish, I think that would be really cool. I would absolutely love to get into some, and especially some of the cooler variations. Like there's one called a ruby cloud that has increased red coloration. I'm not sure if it's urethristic or what, but sounds awesome. Or just a really nice, like a selectively bred colorful one, whatever. It'd be really interesting. I can find the golds in pet stores here occasionally. I've seen them. It's been a while, but I have seen them here. I'm not sure how I feel about the golds. Apparently, what research I've done there, they're apparently a leucistic or leucistic form of white clouds, and they look pretty cool. I'm just not sure how I feel about them as opposed to the wild types. Oh, Kevin, welcome. You got to handle a crocodile monitor? That sounds awesome. That's something that's on my list I would love to do. I think I've handled a couple of Asian water monitors and enjoyed that a lot, but I think those are the only ones I have handled. Croc monitors are amazing. So Noah, how dry do Porcelia hoffmannseggi like their enclosure? They're pretty adaptable, but I feel like they do well with decent ventilation and a moist area, but a good gradient so they can choose, where there are hiding places all along, up against the moist area, in the middle, and then on the dry area. You just give them all of it. And they will use all of it at different times. So I feel like that's the way to do. So inflator. I have never kept leaf or stick insects. They tend to be not illegal in every situation, but they require permits at the very least, and in most cases containment facilities to travel across state lines. So I've never kept any. I hope to be getting some that are native to my state. We do have a couple of cool species here, Parabacillus hesperus and Parabacillus coloratus, that live in the state. So if I can get a hold of some, then I would love to keep those. And they're very forgiving, and I have food plants around here that are evergreen. They take the Himalayan blackberry. They do really well on that apparently, and I have that, and it's an evergreen plant, at least around here. And so I could feed them all winter. I have plenty of that stuff around, and so that's what I would love to do. But as far as shipping any across states, not until I have a containment facility that is approved by USDA, and then I could get many different kinds. But that's how it goes. So, ooh, Vietnamese stick bugs. I saw one of those. I saw those in a pet store once. They are very cool. Yeah, they do tend to like it kind of dry, but they're very tolerant, the Porcelia hoffmannseggi, and they just need to be able to regulate. So they need both. They need a dry area and a wet area, and then they'll be better off. Oh, you visited the Reptarium, Kevin. Awesome. I think I'm missing stuff. Not caught in one day. I do have fish. I have a huge population of blue star endlers. They're really gorgeous. The blue star endlers. If you haven't seen those, look those up. One of the mods, if you want to, you can link to the blue star endlers. They just have this, the males, of course, have this vivid blue, covers a big part of their body, and they have some orange spots and some black markings on them. I have a huge population of those. I have some bristlenose plecos, a trio of those, and then I have a couple of goldfish, and let's see, these are not mine, but my daughter has some black coolie loaches and a betta, and one of those endlers. And then, do we have other fish in the house? No, I actually have 4 bristlenose plecos because there's one in a different tank. And those are the things that I have fish-wise, I think. We have lots of other aquatic tanks. Some are just for insects, and some are for different things, but yeah. And Corridora. Yeah, I think you're right. White Clouds got popular because they're so hardy, and then people were like, oh, they're a beginner fish. They don't care. I think that's probably true, which is sad because they are so awesome and they deserve it. Spiny leaf insects. There is a species, trying to remember the scientific name of it now, that I believe goes by the name of spiny Extatosoma terratum, I think it is. And that is, I think it goes by the name of spiny leaf insect that is native to Australia, and that may be the one we're talking about. Okay, so Jenny, you have the gold ones. Yeah, they do seem to be more common. Definitely in pet stores. Oh, Void's insects. Bred blue deafening beetle and got 13 larvae. Awesome. Hope they go well. Rice fish sound cool too. There's somebody local who has the red cap rice fish, and I've thought about that as well. Okay, thanks Frank the Tank. So Yotaro, I have encountered aggressive bristlenose plecos. Yeah, they have those odontodes, the spiky kind of bony projections. They can stick out of the sides of their head, and I've seen them use those before. So Cosval, it's not over yet. It is going to end in about 15 minutes. We're ending a little early. I have an appointment. So 5:45 my time is about when we'll end, but you've got about 15 more minutes, Cosval, so you're good to go. Drape themselves over a sponge filter and play dead them, and then my better bugs than they would. Coolie liches are super hilarious. Okay, Brandon Elder for feeding Daphnia. What ratio of spirulina to water should I be feeding? I just look for a consistent ratio to feed my various culture sizes. Okay, this is what I do. And there's wiggle room on this. Okay. I have a little scoop that I use to put into, and this varies depending on size of enclosure and so on. Usually what I suggest is about 1 teaspoon to 2 ounces of purified water. You put the food item. I have never fed just direct, straight spirulina like that. I usually mix it with something like chickpea flour or green pea flour or rice flour or both. And then put about 1 teaspoon or just yeast, baker's yeast. Put 1 teaspoon of the mix in with the 2 ounces of water. Shake it up. Make sure it's really well mixed. And then from that point, that is what I feed them. And you depending on the size of your culture, you have that, and then you can add a few drops if it's like a jar culture. You can dump it all in if you have a 40-gallon tank like I do, that kind of thing. And I don't jump 2 ounces in the 40-gallon tank. It's usually, I dump some in the 20-gallon tank. I kind of eyeball it after I make up 2 ounces, some in the 40-gallon tank, and then some in my 1 gallon, just a few drops in my 1-gallon tank. And that's what I do. So you could do something like that with the spirulina. You'd probably just, if you're just feeding spirulina, you could probably do something similar, but I just haven't. So pod people, I have kept different types of morning geckos together. Seems to be okay so far. And I do have reptiles, Pata XW. I have morning geckos. I have crested geckos. I have a leopard gecko. We have a corn snake. We have various garter snakes. We have melanistic garter snakes. We have Montana red-sideds. And I've got some visual wild type eastern garters too. All the garters are in brumation right now, but I do have them. And yeah, we've got a couple of amphibians too. We have an axolotl, we have 3 bumblebee dart frogs, and we have a Pac-Man frog. So, and the axolotl belongs to one of my kids. The Pac-Man frog belongs to another of my kids, and the dart frogs are mine. As far as I know, they're not reptiles and they're amphibians, but you know, they're a reptile hobby adjacent amphibians, I guess you could say. Okay, theropod hunter has another species stick insect. Cool. Whoa! 503 serious? A bristlenose bit off the arm of a dart frog. That's crazy. So Casval started millipedes, Porcelia scaber. Pretty close, just 2 L's. And otherwise they're new for your area. Huh. Well, there are some millipedes that are pretty invasive. I know in Europe that's a thing. What is Umbonia, theropod hunter? I don't know that genus. So Casval, I've worked with a couple of different bacterial fungal soil inoculants for bioactive enclosures. The one BioShot is one that the BioDude produces, and for isopod enclosures specifically, I've used the one from BioLives. But as far as reptile enclosures specifically, I've only used the one from BioDude. I'm sure there are other good ones out there, but that is one that I have used and I like it. So, ooh, theropod hunter, male jeweled lacerta developing adult colors. I bet that's beautiful. Those are super cool lizards. So Emily Farmer, how can you kill or get rid of mold in the drainage layer under the window screen and dirt? So, is this a new setup or is this like an old thing going on? So Pata, what kind of cleanup crew could work in an arid bioactive setup? Kind of depends on how arid it is. In really arid there are some springtails that can work pretty well in arid setups, but it depends on how arid it is. But there are some springtails that can work in pretty arid situations. There's some book lice, actually, that can work really well in arid setups. There are some beetles. Some of the beetles, like mealworm beetles, can work in an arid setup. Even superworm beetles, they require a little more humidity than mealworms, but they can do all right, depending on what you're keeping and whether or not they would be eaten. There are other beetles you could work with. And as long as there is a moist area, there are some isopods that do pretty well in arid setups. They just need to have that moist area. So, for example, the Porcelia laevis desert adapted ones, like the Santa Rita Mountains one that I am now working with, giant canyons can do pretty well as long as they have that moist area. Other types of Porcelia laevis can. Porcellinoides pruinosus actually does pretty well as long as they have a moist area too. And Disc Guy, you're welcome. Glad to hear that. I'd love to see my fish. Maybe we should arrange that to see some of my fish at some point. We could do a live stream in front of the goldfish tank, I guess. Maybe after I get some white clouds in there so it's a little more interesting. All right, thank you, Yotaro, for joining in. Coro Works, welcome, been a while. Okay, 1-year-old setup. Okay, so it's not just the initial mold bloom. I think trying to kill it would be very difficult without basically sanitizing the whole thing. But it might be more about determining why it is there and how pervasive is it? Is it all over the place or just a little bit? Or ooh, lime green head scale sounds awesome, Therapod Hunter. Lacertids in general just, they fascinate me. Okay, it's a crested gecko terrarium, isopods and springtails already present. Do you find that isopods and springtails are thriving? Are they reducing it at all? Do you see them like congregating in the area? Is it hard for them to get to it? Oh, Cosval, that's an interesting thought. Hydrogen peroxide. I guess it would be a reset with the bacteria. I haven't tried that, but that's an interesting suggestion. Oh, Theropod Hunter. Researching and collecting plants native to the Iberian Peninsula. So the vivarium will be location authentic. Awesome. Basically a biotope vivarium. Huh. Super cool. I like that idea. That is super cool. I've got to, let's see, how are we doing on charge? Hope I'm not losing charge too fast. I think we're okay. We've got about 9 more minutes. I'm going to increase the ability of people to chat. There we go. I didn't realize I was on slow chat. Near the wall, so no light. Most of the springtails and isopods in there are not doing it. Okay. Now we need to figure out why. What kind of substrate do you have in there? And what's your drainage layer made of? Oh, coral works. That's a good suggestion too. And voids insects, how big are your larvae? Ooh, sorry. Misjudged the distance from the wall. That was fun. Let's see. How big are your larvae that you separated out? I would say if the larvae are 1.5 inches to 2 inches when they're extended and not when they're contracted, because blue death fainting beetle larvae contract a lot when they get bothered. For those of you who don't know that, then they're probably ready or close to ready to do that. One inch extended, okay. Might be a little small, but as long as they have stuff to eat, maybe they're okay. I usually try to wait till they're over 1 inch, but you know, you could also get, yeah, as long as they're good enough that they can keep growing if they need to, then they should be okay. Window screen, 1 inch of organic soil, some sphagnum moss, and an asparagus fern. Okay, and it's just organic soil. I think one of the issues might be that typically organic soil is not aerobic enough by itself, and even with some sphagnum moss, that's going to help a little bit, but it might not be enough. That typically I use like an ABG mix or an ABG style mix that's it's kind of chunky and very aerobic, and that tends to help reduce such issues. So that might be what's going on. That the soil may be compacting too much, and that may be allowing that fungal growth to occur. Theropod Hunter, I've just remembered my blue death fainting beetles finally produced larvae. Awesome. That is exciting. Congratulations. I'm glad that so many people are breeding blue death fainting beetles now. I think it's not going to be too long before it's going to be just a widespread thing. I hope so. I hope that is the case. It is much more widespread than it was, certainly. And it's great to hear it when I have people message me and say, hey, look at all these blue death fainting beetles that I produced. And even though I have produced a few, or a couple of adult blue death fainting beetles, it's not something that I've dedicated a ton of focus to since doing that. I was like, I have to succeed, and I did succeed, and then I haven't done a whole lot since with it. Okay, that is my warning that I have 5 minutes. So we'll keep going for about 5 minutes, and I need to head out for the day. But J-Man, welcome. Great to have you here. Excellent. So Cosval, I kind of do the same thing. I try to get it really bright, and basically I gauge it on two things: plant growth and then visual appearance. And those are the two things. I don't use power meters or anything in my vivariums. I just try to get really bright. On a couple of my vivariums, I have the Tinkman Herps bulbs that BioDude sells, and I found those to be really bright and effective. I use Jungle Dawns, and I've used some of the Jungle Dawn style bulbs on some of my others. I like those. They work fine. But yeah, it's just sort of a, is this working? Am I getting nice compact plant growth, not leggy growth? And how does it look? On my dart frog enclosure, for example, it's 29 gallon. I have one of the Tinkman Herp bulbs, and that's more for the back of the vivarium. And I was feeling I'm not getting what I want in the front. It's great in the back, but I'm not getting what I want in the front. So I put another, just like a Nycrew, I think it was, aquarium bulb over the front half of the glass. So now it's much brighter and it looks good. It looks good. So it's just sort of an eyeballing thing and seeing how that plant growth works. And it's certainly doing well. The Neoregelia bromeliads are doing well. Pretty much all the plants are doing well. I think up near the top, some of the Oakleaf ficus, it might be actually too bright for it when it's right up near the top, but most places in the vivarium it's growing really well. Flood lamps from Home Depot. Okay, yeah. Actually, I do use in some of my vivaria, I use just like LED bulbs that are like 6500K and stuff like that. In some of the vivariums, I think I have like one Jungle Dawn style LED bulb and then one of those, and they seem to be work. Oh, Theropod Hunter. Cubaris, Ishigaki Island have offspring too. Fantastic. Even if they're easy to breed, it's still fun. And Cosval, that can be. Some of the reptile brand name lights are. I really like the Tinkman Herps, but I'm sure there are others. Some of them, I guess, over at least one of my vivariums, but I don't have any plants in there. But it's just it's a garter snake enclosure, and it has just like a shop light, an LED shop light over it, and it's plenty bright. So Emily Farmer, how difficult are dart frogs to start with or to keep? Are they a good amphibian to start with? It depends. I feel like dart frogs, once you got them going and once you've gone through the learning curve of a bioactive vivarium and stuff, and you're willing to, go all the way with all the substrates and everything the dart frogs need, so that the setup is exactly what they need, they're not difficult. It's kind of expensive to set up something like that. But once you've done it, and they really are pretty easy to keep after that. So if you're willing to make sure you can get everything you need for them, and it might cost you a couple $100, a few $100, depending on how elaborate you want to go, it could be more, whatever. But if you're willing to do that, then once you have, it's not hard. So if you want to make it a fairly low investment at the beginning and you want to go it that way, I wouldn't recommend dart frogs. There are other amphibians that are going to be easier to do, but if you're willing to make the investment, I don't think they're a problem at all for a beginner, especially since you have some experience with bioactive vivaria already. So Theropod Hunter, they do mate guard perpendicular to the females. That is very interesting. And the males appear half the size. Ooh, that's very interesting if there's that much sexual dimorphism in them. So Corridora, what's that? Did Russ say what? Oh shoot, I gotta go in a second here. Time flies. Well, I only have a couple seconds to go, folks, but thank you for joining me today. I hope you enjoyed today's live stream. It was a bit different than what I've done lately. So in the meantime, I hope you all have a chance to find some arthropods and enjoy them in whatever situation. I don't have a par meter. Yeah, I don't have a par meter at all, Corridora. Haven't found it necessary to have a par meter. All right, so thank you, everyone. I must go, but I hope you all have a good one. We'll catch you next time.